The Chronicles of Erethnol, Third Age, Year 3041, August 4th. Continuation, The Tides That Remembered. When the moons returned, no one cheered. They had come back too close, too bright, too aware. Their pale light poured over Erethnol like judgment through cathedral glass. Every tower cast 7 shadows. Every river shone silver black. Every sleeping child dreamed of oceans they had never seen. By dawn, the tides had not corrected themselves. They had begun to remember. From the harbor records. Along the western coast, the sea withdrew from the shore and revealed an entire city beneath the water. Not ruins, a city. Its towers were intact, its bridges still held, its lanterns still burned with blue flame beneath the waves. The old maps called the place Merath Vale, but every official archive claimed it had never existed. That was usually how Erethnol handled uncomfortable history. First deny it, then bury it. Then act surprised when it climbs out of the sea wearing a crown of barnacles. The people gathered on the cliffs and stared down at the impossible city. Then the bells beneath the water began to ring. The drowned procession. At the first bell, figures appeared in the streets below. They moved slowly through the submerged avenues, dressed in ceremonial robes that drifted around them like ink in water. Their faces were hidden behind silver masks shaped like moons. They were not alive, but they were not empty either. Each carried a lantern. Each lantern contained a tiny moon. Illyra Voss, the young archivist who had first noticed the moons hiding behind closed eyes, stood at the cliff edge with trembling hands. She counted the lanterns. There were 12, but Erethnol had only 11 moons. When she said this aloud, the sea stopped moving. Not calmed, stopped. Every wave froze in place like glass, and from the drowned city below, all 12 masked figures turned their faces toward her. The 12th moon. The council arrived before sunset with guards, scholars, and priests who all looked far too confident for people standing above a city that had politely risen from the ocean. They demanded answers. The sea gave them one. A column of water rose from Merath Vale and formed the shape of a child. A girl made of tide water and moonlight. Her voice came from every shell, every puddle, every drop of rain waiting in the clouds. You remember 11 because you erased the 12th. You call her lost. We call her betrayed. No one moved. Even the gulls went silent, which was deeply suspicious. Gulls usually comment on everything with the emotional subtlety of thrown cutlery. Illyra stepped forward and asked, "Where is the 12th moon?" The water child looked up at the sky, then down at the city, then directly into Illyra's eyes. Inside the first lie. The forbidden lunar name. That night, every book in the lunar archives opened to a blank page. Ink rose from the paper by itself and formed one word. Vea Luna. The forbidden moon. The moon no prayer named. The moon no map drew. The moon whose orbit had been cut from history like a wound hidden beneath silk. When the name appeared, the 11 moons dimmed. Not from fear, from shame. And far beneath the ocean, in the drowned city of Merath Vale, the 12th lantern cracked. A sound passed over Erethnol. Not thunder, not song. A heartbeat. One single heartbeat, large enough to shake dust from every ancient ceiling. Illyra understood then. The 12th moon was not gone. It was sleeping. And someone had built the world around keeping it that way. Today's reflection. Erethnol learned that night that forgetting can become architecture. A city can be built over a secret. A law can be built over fear. A whole civilization can learn to count wrong if the missing number is dangerous enough.
But what is erased does not always vanish. Sometimes it waits in water. Sometimes it waits in dreams. Sometimes it waits behind the eyelids of the one person stubborn enough to ask the wrong question at the right time. Illyra did not yet know what Vealuna was. A moon, a prison, a memory, a god, or something worse. But she knew this: the sky had lied, and the sea had kept the evidence. Reflection questions. What truth have I learned to count around? What part of my life has been erased so carefully that I almost believed it was never there? Who benefits when I forget? What memory keeps returning through dreams, symbols, or silence? Am I ready to ask the question everyone else avoids? The sea did not reveal Merath Vale because it wanted to be believed. It revealed the city because the moons had returned, and one of them was still missing from the truth.